So we had a boat. Then we sold the boat. So we sold the boat so we can make boat's a weird word. Boat. We sold the boat so we could buy a bigger boat, like almost a big boat that we could live on. Because we had this idea we could live on a boat, like when we retire, we could live on the boat. But it didn't really work out because it was a big boat, and even though it was a big boat, I had 4 cats and they didn't fit, and I didn't know how to drive it. I did my best, but then we decided it was a bit more than we could chew off. We bit off more than we could chew. So we sold the boat. We had a boat. We sold the boat. We bought a boat. And we sold that boat, and now we bought a boat. So we're going to go out fishing on the boat. Want to go fishing on the boat? Come on, let's go. Come on. All right, my surf fishing friends, the first thing we needed to do was get the old logo off the back of the truck. Remember, we got new logos, a couple of videos I showed you that. We got the Team Puffer, we got the Team Black Drum, which is what this video is going to be about. Anyway, I thought I needed to get a new logo for the back of the truck. So I ordered one online, and it came, and it looked like it was going to fit perfectly, and I obviously would apply this to the back of my truck real easy, no problem. Just get it on. It just like 1, 2, 3. So, anyway, the cool thing about it is, besides the new logo on the back of the truck with the Team Puffer logo, you can actually get some merch now. You can go to sandsinthesurf-shop.fourthwall.com. That's a mouthful. I'll put a link down in the comments here. You can see it right here. So you want to go to it and check it out. You can get some merch, and you can get some shirts and a bathing suit. Who doesn't want a Sands on the Surf bathing suits? Anyway, got my friend Dave, and I said, Dave, let's go look at a boat, because as I mentioned, we had a big boat, and my wife wanted to get another little boat. So we looked at this Chaparral, I don't know. It's a boat. It has it floats. That was a good thing. And we checked out the back and noticed that it had a propeller on the back, which is important, so that seemed to be good. And then I got inside the boat and noticed that there were chairs to sit in, and even had a steering wheel. So I thought this might, be the boat. And so Dave said he thought it was a cool boat, and really none of this matters. My wife picked out the boat. She wanted the boat, so we bought the boat. There it is on the sandbar, and I thought, let's go fishing down on the sandbar. We went at low tide, but so it makes it a little trickier to catch fish at low tide. But I'll just stop right here, and I'll tell you my thinking behind why I picked this spot to fish. The tide's going out, and to my right, it's pretty low, about 2 feet maybe. I could walk out there, and then right here it drops off and it goes out to 6 feet, and so the tide's coming out, and I want you to see this current. With this tide coming off that, I think there's going to be fish right here, because that's just pushing everything off of this, what's going to be a sandbar in about an hour. And if I was a fish, I'd be sitting right there waiting for stuff to come off. So that's where I'm going to put this line. We'll see what happens. Now, one of the first things I got to show you here is that whenever people go fishing and they make these videos, everything looks like they just catch fish right away and they never have any problems. Well, this is like right from the start. My rigs, it was just all tangled up on there. So I spent like 15 minutes trying to untangle it, but I finally got it untangled, and I got my green-soaked green bait and a piece of fresher shrimp and cast it out. And lo and behold, I caught a fish right away, and I was surprised at this, a little puffer. How about that? A little puffer. And I didn't want to keep him because I thought I probably won't catch too many more puffer. And I was right. It was just the one puffer that day. So I let him swim off strong, little puffer. I'll get him back in March, right, in the surf. We'll be back for him. Then I caught another fish, and this one was pulling a little bit harder. So I thought, nice. It was a blue. It was a little blue, which is surprising to catch him on the shrimp there. He fell off the hook on the land, but I'm just going to throw him back because I like a bluefish a little bigger. If I wanted to catch some blue, I probably would have cut up some mullet, but I was just using shrimp. And then I caught the fish that I wanted to catch and was aiming to get, and that would be what this video is all about, the black drum. So I hit the right spot, I threw the bait, and I pulled up this one right here. But he was, okay, so you can keep him at 14 inches, and he was about 14, maybe 14 and a half, but still just really close to being that 14-inch size. So I thought, I can I would like to catch, I'll keep him at 16. So I let him go, hoping I would get another one, but no such luck. So we stopped and went out for lunch. Now, I have done a video at the Rusty Hook before, one time, but not since they built this deck. Look at this build. Look at this deck. This is so much fun. And the dogs are allowed. So Bailey was like, I'm in heaven. And they even have cute kids they keep out there to entertain people. So we got there, and of course, ordered up some meals, ordered up some fish tacos. But the big thing about the Rusty Hook is they had a band playing and everything, and then the owner got up and made an announcement that they were going to partner with Clem's. And you know how I do like Clem's. Even Bailey got a little hamburger. Got to get her a hamburger, right? So they're partnering with Clem's, which is great. So they're supposed to be opening up this month sometime. I'm going to be running over to Clem's. Hopefully they keep the stuff that I love so much about it, the live bait, and of course the shrimp. Maybe Brio'll still work there, and she always picks me out the right shrimp. So we decided to go fishing in another spot. This is behind Sheep Island, one of my favorite spots there I like to go, and just took some shrimp again, see what we could catch, and some of the usual suspects here. Got ourselves started off. Get the skunk off the boat with a croaker. Really, can I do any worse? Throw him back right away. Not my favorite fish to catch, but they were biting one after another, and a good variety of fish. So I caught it. Yes, I did catch a couple of croaker. I'm not going to bore you by putting those in the video, but then here's the variety. This next one up was a little silver perch. Now, if you catch a couple of silver perch, they're a nice little meal. And I probably should have thought about this, just thinking this is a pan. I was looking for black drum, of course, but I thought maybe I'll do this as a pan fishing excursion. I caught a spot. Every time I catch a spot, I'm like, I could have a nice little fish fry if I just keep the spot, if I had more spots. But I always throw it back, thinking I only got one spot. And then, of course, I reeled in the next fish, and it was a spot. And I always think to myself, if I had kept the first spot, we could have had a little fish fry, but I've only got one spot. So I throw them back. And then I reel out again, and I cast in, and I get another spot. So if I had really thought about this as a pan fish excursion, I would have kept that silver perch, kept these 3 spot, and I would be well on my way to having a nice little fish fry with some panfish. The next one up is a pigfish. Now, I pull this up because he's not impressive, but they oink like little piggies. Look at the size of this pigfish. Okay, he's not big, right? Looks like about the size of a pin, but he's a pig, P-I-G, and that's a kind of an average size to me, 6 inches on a pigfish. And pigfish are good eating if you can get a big one. Well, look at this hog. He's not even a pigfish anymore. He's a hogfish. Actually, he's not a hogfish because hogfish is a whole other different fish. But definitely a pig. I didn't even know it was a pig. He was fighting in the water. I pulled him up. I'm like, this is the pigfish I want. And I wish I had kept the spots and the perch because with this pig, we would have had ourselves a pretty good meal. But I decided to let him go. I'm going to get out of the marsh and we're going to go back to the sandbar and see if we can get on those black drum. So this time I went to the same spot. And I was looking across the sandbar and thinking, I bet if I was on the other side of the sandbar. But I got a fish, and I pulled him in, and it was a little pinfish. And I thought to myself, this is not, I don't want to do this. I don't want to sit here all day and catch little pinfish. I want a black drum. So I started hiking on the sandbar, and I walked all the way around. I found this little guy on the way and thought, oh, he's probably dead. And I picked him up. And then his little legs started moving, and I thought, oh, maybe he's not 100% dead. So I took him down and I threw him in the water, but I don't know. I tried. I did my good deed for the day. I tried. I don't know. I think he's just going to probably wash back up. Anyway, back on my hike, all the way back around to the other side of the sandbar, and I noticed that it was pretty shallow, but at the end of the sandbar, at the end of this long sandbar peak, there was a drop-off. I could tell the water was deeper. Now, it was probably only about 2 feet deeper, so maybe it was like, it was 2 feet here and it was 4 feet there, but that drop-off is what I was looking for. So I cast out right where I saw that dark water, that drop-off, and like instantly, here goes my rod. And I'm like, I got one. I can feel him nibbling, and then, nothing there. And I put down the rod, and as soon as I did, the other rod went off. Yes. So I started reeling, and you can tell right away when you got a black drum, like the rod's going to bend over, right? They're pretty good fighters. And I pulled them up. And I was like, this is fantastic. I got my black drum. Maybe this will be the keeper. And I pulled him up, and he was in that 14 to 15 inch range. And so, my thinking, I'm like, I could keep him, but I could catch a bigger one. It's got that attitude. So I thought, let me let him go, and we'll see what we can do. Now, I do know that black drum tend to school up, and they tend to school up in sizes. So if you catch one 14-inch drum, chances are, and here it is, the next 14-inch black drum. Pull this bad boy in thinking, I can tell, like, it's like just not pulling like a 16-inch. He's pulling good, but you can tell the difference is 2 inches make. Black drum are great fighters. They're big fish. They taste great. Some people think of them as a trash fish and throw them away, but I think they're great to eat. But I like to I'm very selective, so I let him go. Then my rod bent over. And Kim's like, fish on, fish on. I was like, what's going on? So you see my reel? It kept snapping open. The bail kept snapping open. I'm telling you, it doesn't always go the way you think it's going to go. Like before, my line was all tangled up. It's never perfect. So I started dragging this in. I'm like, this has got to be a big fish. And it wasn't a big fish. In fact, it was two big. I was using a double drop rig, doubled up on black drum. I have never had this happen. Doubled up, 16-inch black drum, and I was like, these are big fish. These have been fighters. Look at it. Put it up to my foot. My foot's like 12 inches, 13 inches, so I know they're big. But I'm gonna get out the measuring stick and just check it for myself. So I'm like, let me measure him. He didn't want to get measured. He thought maybe I'll do that. But anyway, I'm gonna measure him, and I did. Eventually, both of them, and again schooled up together, 16-inch black drums. And I'm like, they're going home for dinner. We're going to go home and have a nice black drum. So I'm like Kim, I'm going to go put these in the boat. I'm going to go put these in the cooler, which means I got to walk all the way around. As soon as I start to leave, the rod starts bending like crazy, and she starts pulling in this, and I mean, this rod was bending, and she was pulling it, and I'm like, just let him take the drag and run, pull him in, the stuff like that, mansplaining it to her, let the rod do the work, reel down, pull up, reel down, and finally she was like, I'm getting tired, you take over. So I'm like, all right, I'll do it. I started reeling him in. I got him right up to the shore. We could see him. This was a big black drum. Big. Like, gotta be at least 23, 24 inches. And I got him right up to the... And then he let go. And look at Kim's face. She's like, what? No! And there's just this walk of shame and defeat. It's a